Hi, it's Frank Versace with Versace Real Estate, and today we're going to take a look at what happened in the Winnipeg real estate market for March 2018. Stick around. Alright, so let's get to it. We're going to jump right in and start with the numbers. If you've been paying attention to the news, you're probably going to see something very important that's going to catch your attention. And again, it's the second month that we've had a bit of a downtrend in the market. So what you're going to see in the headlines, according to the WinnipegRealtors MLS data, is you're going to see for the month of March that the market is down 12%. What that means is the unit sales are down. The number of properties sold this March as compared to last March is down. So let's take a look at that. This month we had 979 units sold in the month of March, whereas last year in the month of March we had 1,111 units sold. So that's a decrease of about 12%. Now what about year to date? Because that number is very important too. That starts to give us a bit of a longer range trend. And as we start adding more and more months into the year, we really want to pay attention and keep our eyes on the year to date number. So year to date sales as well are also down by about 8%. So this year, January to March, we have sold approximately 2,228 units, whereas last year there were 2,438 units sold. So that is a decrease as well of about 8%. Now let's start right from the top here. We'll take a look at the numbers here, the unit sales. So in the month of March, we had, for the number of homes sold, that's single family homes, we had 695 properties sold that were homes. Now last year at this time for 2017, there were 804 single-family houses that were sold. So we can see there's a bit of a downward pressure there in the market. As well for condos, this year we had 142 condos that were sold for the month of March 2018. Last year, 2017, we had 172 condo units that have sold. So there gives us our bit of a downward pressure in the market, and that's starting to become a little bit more apparent as the year goes by. But of course, we are coming into a spring market, and that kind of solves a lot of things for a lot of time. But let's take a look here at time on market, days on market. So that's DOM. Now, a lot of people wonder how long does it take to sell a property. So when we look at how long it takes to get a home sold, we want to watch the days on the clock, DOM. So for houses here, you can see that it takes, for the month of March, about 29 days to get a home sold from start to finish. Now that's citywide, of course, and so that's going to change depending on area, locations, price, and all that stuff. What we can see is a bit of a nice trend from February, which was 32 days to get a home sold. So there's a bit of a decrease in the amount of time to get a house sold. What about for condos? Totally different story. So this March, it's taking about 54 days to get a condo sold. So we're seeing a bit of an expanding amount of days on market, whereas 45 days for the month of February. So that's not a very good trend that we like to see, where it's starting to take longer to get a home sold. But you know, again, we're still early in the year. Now, a lot of people, again, like to look at the absolutes of the market. And again, Winnipeg is a very diverse marketplace. So when we look at the highest sales price in Winnipeg, we had a property that sold for $1.52 million. And then when we look on the completely other end of the spectrum, we had a property that sold for $36,500. So that just goes to show you the diversity inside of Winnipeg. Now, what about the volume? A lot of people like to track what the volume change is. So what is volume? Well, volume is when you take the number of units or the number of properties that have sold multiplied by their sales price. You multiply those two numbers and you get the total sales volume that's exchanged hands or sold in that month. So this year in March, we had $291 million worth of homes that sold in the month of March. How does that compare with last year, March? Well, last year we had $325 million worth of homes sold in the month of March. So there's our decrease as well. We've got a decrease of about 10.65% of sales volume. So, you know, there's a couple of things here that we're looking at that are a little bit concerning. Of course, we've got the downward trend here in the number of units, and then we also have the downward trend in the volume as well. Now, they kind of go hand in hand because as you sell less units, of course, you're going to sell less volume, unless the price of homes is going up. Now, speaking of going up and down in that market, a lot of people like to take a look at above list, below list, and at list. So if you were to put your home on the market, you might ask your realtor, hey, what are the chances that I'm going to put my home on my list price and I'm going to get over my list price? Or what are the chances I'm going to sell right at my list price? Or what are the chances I'm going to sell below my list price? So here, let's take a look at those numbers. If you put your home on the market, month of March, you had a 23% chance that you're going to sell above your list price. What about for at list price? You had about a 7% chance that you're going to sell right at your number. And what about below? Well, for the sellers out there, they're not too happy to see this number. It's 70% of homes on the market are selling below their list price. Super important to make sure your house is priced properly, make sure it shows well, it's staged well, and you got a great realtor that's negotiating for every last penny for you, because you want to be up in this range, you don't want to be in this range. So that starts right off the get-go, making sure that you're prepared before you put your home on the market. Now, as a buyer, this could be good news because you're looking at the market and you're saying, hey, wait a minute, I can get a property 70% of the time below list price. Now, that being said, that changes depending on area, and what I'm seeing is the hot areas are still attracting multiple offers. And so that's something to be mindful of. Now, the other thing I want to talk to you about today is the absorption rate. So what is the absorption rate? Well, the absorption rate kind of tells us what type of market we're in. And that's very important if you're a buying or you're selling. You want to know what type of market we're in and who it's favoring. Is it favoring the buyers? Is it favoring the sellers? So the absorption rate tells us how many homes are being gobbled up basically by the market and how long it's going to take to clear out inventory. What does that mean? Let's take a look. So right now we have 3,898 active listings on the market. Well, we know in the month of March, right, we sold 974 units, right? So we have 3,898 active for sale. We sold 974 units, which means we have 4 months of active inventory. So if no new properties hit the market, it would take 4 months to clear out this approximate 3,900 units for sale. Now, if we're looking at what type of market that is, the guidelines are, if it's a seller's market, we're going to be looking at about less than 3 months of inventory. If it's a buyer's market, favoring the buyers, we're going to have about 5 months or more of inventory. And if it's a balanced market, it's going to be somewhere between 3 to 5 months of inventory. Well, right now we're sitting at 4 months of inventory, which means right now we're in a balanced market. We're not in a seller's market, we're not in a buyer's market, we're in a balanced market. Sometimes the buyers are going to be paying over list price and they're going to be fighting for properties, and sometimes the sellers are going to be hoping to find a buyer that may take a little bit longer, as we're starting to see with some of the numbers. Now, how does this compare to last year? Well, a lot of people want to know, are we increasing or decreasing? Are we changing markets? What's happening? So here we are. Last year, we had 3,903 listings that were active in the month of March. And in the month of March last year, we sold 1,111 units. As we said here, 1,111 units. So last year, our absorption rate, if you're selling 1,111 units per month, and there's 3,900 properties for sale, virtually identical, but selling a little bit faster, which means we were taking 3.5 months to clear out our inventory. So our absorption rate was 3.5. Where did that put us? Well, it still put us in a balanced market, but a little bit more swayed to a seller's market. So I hope this information has been very helpful for you, because it's very important to pay attention to the local real estate market. Certainly, whatever happens in your backyard affects the value of your property. And if we can be of any assistance to you, whether it's buying, selling, investing in real estate, maybe you have a friend or family member that's looking to buy, sell, or invest, we would love to help you. It would be our pleasure. So take this information and stay positive and make it a great day.